Good morning, viewers from across the globe. Today is Monday, June 29th. Reactions are trailing comments from Senate President Akpabio, who declared that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration is already transforming Nigeria as critics online fire back with the realities of insecurity and economic hardship. And Afrobeat superstar Davido is making Nigeria proud at the FIFA World Cup Fan Festival in Atlanta, performing before a packed crowd at the iconic Centennial Olympic Park in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's dive right in. I am OjyOkpe, and this is what's trending. Now, before we dive deeper, let's see what you're talking about right now. We've been tracking conversations on X, Facebook, our YouTube live feed, and of course, Leke. And three stories are dominating your timelines this morning. Trending at number one, President Donald Trump is claiming credit for ending what he describes as the slaughter of Christians in Nigeria, boasting that the U.S. missile strikes deterred further terror attacks and that U.S. forces hit them very hard and knocked out their top commanders. Nigerians are not holding back their reactions. Trending at number two, Interior Minister Tunji Ojo says 7 suspected Boko Haram and ISWAP commanders returning from Hajj in Saudi Arabia were arrested at Katsina Airport, confirming that terrorists were traveling to Mecca and back freely, setting social media abuzz. Trending at number three, heartbreak from Kaduna State. A husband alleges that the police handed his wife to a mob and watched them burn her alive as she was falsely accused of child theft while simply asking children for directions. Now, here is where you come in. Join the conversations. Use the hashtag What's Trending with OjyOkpe. Comment on our live feed. And of course, Leke. Tell me which of these stories matters most to you. Because for the next hour, we're going into everything that has Nigeria and the rest of the world buzzing. But first, Senator Adams Oshiomhole is backing Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo's plan to publicly execute convicted kidnappers and cultists at the Ring Road roundabout in Benin City, declaring the plan will keep those who want to go into kidnapping in check. Let's watch.
The declaration by Governor of Edo State, Governor Okpebholo, that we are in a federation. Like in American Federation, every state has a right to enact laws on punishment when it comes to state offenses. So, kidnapping and murder fall within the state offenses. And he has decided, together with the House of Assembly, to replace hanging with firing squad. What that is done, those who don't want to suffer that should not come to Edo State. So we rise to give you full support. What made diversity beautiful is when different people approach the same issue from different angles based on their own evaluation of the situation. Number two, as your senator, I supported in total President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Governors Forum decision to create state police so that instead of using vigilante with old-fashioned gun, while criminals are carrying AK-47, when we have state police, Governor Monday, we have the right to buy the latest AK-49 to deal with these criminals. Whether they are in our bush, they are in our cities, they are in mechanic shop, every criminal is out notice. No more lamentation. Our bush will be safe. Our farmers will be happy. I cannot fall because I was born the day God said I will be born. So don't worry. As I did here, so Mama dey alive, oh. So, I think this is important for people to understand the full logic of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's commitment to bring real air into the concept of federation.
Well, Governor Monday Okpebholo first made this declaration, and Senator Adams Oshiomhole is fully endorsing it. Those in support say Nigerians' kidnapping crisis has reached a point where conventional deterrents have clearly failed. And if public execution make even one potential kidnapper think twice, the proposal has done its job. But critics are raising serious questions. They say compressing a criminal case in 2 or 3 weeks raises real questions about due process, the right of appeal, and wrongful conviction. Amnesty International has repeatedly warned that fast-track executions increase the risk of irreversible miscarriages of justice. The kidnapping crisis is real. The anger is justified. But here is the core question. In a country where the justice system is already under scrutiny, can we trust a 2-week trial to determine who lives or who dies at a roundabout? Rufai, good morning. Dr. Abati, good morning. Ayo, good morning. I came to you, Rufai, first, because I know you want to speak on this.
At this point in time, yes, we might have to fine-tune it, but I largely agree with Governor Monday Okpebholo and Oshiomhole. This matter is more than be careful.
Yes.
So, but just the parts for fast-track trial, I don't really believe that. We must be able to scrutinize them well because
before they kill them, yes.
Because you have also had cases where it was when the investigation started, you saw that some people that were taken with them were just victims of circumstance.
Yes.
But if it will get to the point where you have public execution, because these people, when they kill people, they do the execution public. You see what they did to the generals.
There used to be firing squad in
but
Nigeria,
people stopped it over the years because, you know, they said, oh, it's not a better way to do things and everything. But we've gone back to the wild, wild west. So the part I just want to fine-tune is going through the process effectively and ensuring that these people truly did the crime, not a fast-track trial. But if we get to that point, if they've given them execution and they've gone through the whole wrong, and we fast-track the process, the thing is, it should be done publicly at this point in time.
The execution.
Because when these people also do their execution, they do it publicly.
They put it on social media.
They put it on social media.
Yeah.
So if they can do the same, let us also shock their own ecosystem with this. Oji, in this country where they are already capped, kidnappers and terrorists are going on Hajj pilgrimage.
Yeah.
You are going on Hajj pilgrimage and you're coming back to kill people. What God are you serving?
All right.
What are you? You're deceiving yourself. And that guy was correct. So is it that the state government will say they don't know about it? The guy on Trust TV that said state government sponsors some of these bandits was correct. And please, we should now ask who supported them.
Right.
The state governor involved has a lot of authority to say. See, the governor of Katsina has not told us what transpired with Rabbi.
All right.
He just said diabetes and all of that, which has been debunked.
All right. Well, and a statement from U.S. President Donald Trump is generating fierce reactions in Nigeria. Speaking at an event in Washington on Friday, Trump claimed credit for ending what he described as a slaughter of Christians in Nigeria, saying U.S. forces struck Nigeria and largely ended the killing of Christians, boasting of taking out terrorist leaders at the top and claiming the strikes have stopped further attacks. Let's take a look.
As you know, we recently struck Nigeria and largely ended the slaughter of great Christian populations. They have a great Christian population. They were being butchered. Thousands and thousands of people were being killed. Children, women, old people, just being slaughtered, hatched to death. They know that if they go further, the attack will be far greater and that they don't want to really get involved anymore so much. You know, we hit them very hard. We knocked out their leader. We knocked out their second leader and their third leader. Sounds a little bit like Iran, actually.
All right, Ayo, Nigerians are not holding back. The reactions fall into 3 camps. Those who welcome U.S. military cooperation against ISWAP and Boko Haram, those who are outraged at Trump's framing of Nigeria's insecurity as exclusively a Christian versus Muslim crisis, and those questioning whether Trump actually understands the complexity of Nigeria's security situation. And I'll take some reactions on X. Emeka wrote, President of the United States, whoever told you that killing of Christians have ended in Nigeria is a liar. The bandits and terrorists are still waxing stronger, wreaking havoc to the citizens on daily basis. Another X-user wrote, President Donald Trump, with due respect, this is the first time I must say you are not telling the truth. Christians are still being killed, kidnapped, and persecuted in Nigeria every single day. And this is the sort of reactions that we're seeing. A huge pushback. Nigerians were furious online. Your comments?
You see, that's why when President Trump made that statement last year, we said that, yes, everybody's excited. Trump, come and save us. So Trump, come and invest. Come. Nobody can love your country as much as you want, as you do. Nobody can be more patriotic than a Nigerian citizen. And so Trump was not the savior. And we can now see that, yes, he spoke to the issues, but it was mainly for the benefit of appealing his base with regards to him wanting to come into, with the joint cooperation with Nigeria or wanting to bomb. We are grateful because to a very large extent, we also heard from Dr. Gorka around his interview talking about the incursions they've made, the successes based on the joint operation with Nigerian security outfits. But I think this helps us to see the bigger picture that nobody is going to solve Nigeria's problem for it aside from Nigerians themselves. And so yes, while we welcome collaborations and cooperations with the international community, it is even more important that we ourselves are serious about tackling insecurity and fighting against terrorism. The issues have not yet abated. Yes, they have recorded successes, but we still see killings on a daily basis. We still see persecutions in the middle belt of Nigeria, in North Central. We still see the Northeast terrorism and banditry. We still see in the Northwest. So it is not yet done. But Trump has appealed to his base. He has spoken hyperbolically as he wants to do, and he has made, just said the right things. Now let's come back home. Aside from these operations that have been done, that have been recorded as successes, if we don't kill the lifeblood or the underlying reasons why these people regroup, because I was speaking to a military, personnel, and was saying that they are like ants. They are everywhere. There are so many, and a lot of the things and one of the reasons, number one, is ungoverned spaces that was highlighted in that interview with Dr. Gorka. The fact that we have very porous borders, the fact that we have the issue of poverty, which makes it easy to recruit or to radicalize young people from the north. If this government is serious about fighting terrorism, aside from the kinetic and the show of force and the precision strikes, they must also challenge the poverty in the north. They must bring education to the north so that the people are not misled by misinformation or people who prey on their ignorance or illiteracy. And so if we don't deal with those issues, and then the financiers that we talk about,
this is what
the government has to take ownership and responsibility.
Yes.
This is Trump's narrative. This is Trump's own, view of the world. But there are two sides of the story. Where is Nigeria's point of view? And what is Nigeria doing? Because America is not the solution to our insecurity. They can help, and we welcome their help. But at the end of the day, it is our fight to fight.
Very well said, Ayo. Meanwhile, 3 security developments are painting a deeply troubling picture in Nigeria. In Zamfara State, 15 people were massacred as terrorists attacked Talata, Mafara local government area on Friday in a viral video from the victim's funeral. Local government chairman Yahaya Yari broke down in tears, making an emotional appeal to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Minister of State for Defense Bello Matawalle to intervene and end the killings.
Babu ruwana da siyasa wallahi. Amma ne abin da ya faru yau wallahi dole a wada mu duniya cewa ƙarya ake yi. Ministan tsaro karami wanda kai ne wakilin jihar Zamfara. Ba mu da wani minista a cikin majalisar zartawa ta ƙasa sai kai. Ba mu da wani wakili sai kai. Ba mu da wani mutum da a ce mu a fere gaman sai kai. Yau a yankin ka ne. Constituency ka senatorial ɗinka wata uku da suka wuce ko biyu ka gaya mana cewa ka yi alƙawarin za a kawo mana sojoji 1000 domin su kare waɗanda mutane. Da girma minista, ya excellency da girmamawa wannan mutane za ka ansa wannan tambaya ga ubangiji.
May their souls rest in peace. Meanwhile, in Ogun State, fear gripped the Sagamu-Benin Expressway after gunmen ambushed vehicles at Ogbere on Thursday afternoon, shooting sporadically, forcing 5 passengers from 3 different vehicles deep into the forest, demanding ransom of up to 50 million naira. Here are some eyewitness accounts.
J4 Express Road, bandits, Wallahi, lost all gone, life and direct. Expressway, Ogbere, Ogbere. Ẹ ti súnmọ́ ọtọ́. Wọ́n ti pa títì. Ọlọ́run ṣàánú. A ti ṣèbù. Pẹ̀lú èké. Àwọn èèyàn escape àwọn tó máa kó lọ ti kó wọn lọ.
When they injure me, I have to pick up the sweater. The sweater was with blood. I held my hand. One man was beside me, coming out, was running. He said, "Madam, forget about the pain, run for your life." I run. I now burst out for one police station. As I burst out for that police station, the police woman that I met now saying, "Don't need to talk too much. This your life, and that woman, they important. With blood everywhere, all my body soap." Now take me back to. They rejected me, reached 3 hospitals. That woman for police station got sent. Now carry me back to this general hospital.
Now we're told that within 24 hours, Operation Koshaye struck back. Over 300 police officers from Lagos and Ogun commands stormed area J4 Forest, killing 4 kidnappers, arresting 4 more, and rescuing all 5 victims unharmed. In total, 88 suspects were arrested across both states with AK-47 rifles, pump-action guns, and ammunition recovered. Governor Akpabio commended the IGP for the intelligence-driven operation, as did Governor Sanwo-Olu of Lagos. Operation Koshaye means no space for criminals. And this weekend, that name lived up to its promise. Meanwhile, a stunning security breakthrough. Interior Minister Tunji Ojo revealed over the weekend that 7 suspected Boko Haram and ISWAP commanders returning from Hajj in Saudi Arabia were arrested at Katsina Airport, confirming that terrorists had been traveling freely to Mecca and back until new biometric integration between NIMC, Immigration, and Interpol caught them on their way home. Social media is awash with reactions, and I'll take some reactions, Dr. Abati, before I come to you. Moke wrote on X, "What is left is the integration of police criminal finger database with NIMC Nigeria. The people who facilitated how the terrorists got their passports must also be investigated. It is easy to pick them out on the passport system. It seems the passport syndicates are back at work at the Nigerian embassy in London. Please investigate what is going on." Steve wrote on X, "If terrorism suspects were able to travel for Hajj without being intercepted, it raises serious questions about security, intelligence, and accountability. Nigerians deserve to know who they are, who financed the trip, and whether those responsible will be held accountable." Dr. Abati, your comments.
Okay, let's start with a statement by Minister Tunji Ojo.
Yes.
Now, we'll reference it against the background of the story on Trust TV, where a particular fellow was interviewed, and he said on television that, in fact, in Katsina State, where I guess he hails from, that the terrorists, the bandits, and all the criminals in the state are very well known to the Katsina State government. He went a step further to name about 3-4 persons who he said at the time were already on a pilgrimage to Saudi Arabia, and that these persons were sponsored by the state government of Katsina. Well, maybe there is a connection between that allegation by that particular person and now the Minister of Interior coming forward to say that, in fact, some persons were arrested on their return from the Hajj in Katsina. The stories seem to look similar. And I think that what we should be worried about is that some states, under the guise of negotiating with bandits or terrorists and paying them a ransom have now further promoted that economy, that ecosystem of terrorism and kidnapping. And this is a major challenge for whatever best intentions the federal government may have. Now, in the case of Zamfara, well, there was one point that was made there by the chairman on television attacking Dr. Bello Matawalle.
Yes.
Now, Dr. Matawalle, you know, is from Zamfara, and yet people of Zamfara have been attacked, and he is Minister of State for Defense. Just to make the point that this is about what they call the politics of proximity in the literature. This thinking that if you have a representative in government, because of your proximity to that person will be in government basically to serve your interests. And if anything happens, you then say, how can we have our own person in government and this is happening to us? But the politics of proximity does not work that way. It certainly does not work that way. That a person is representing you does not mean that you'll be in a position to look out for your interests, because there are issues about institutions. There are issues about ability. There are issues about the weakness of the governance system. Now, we've been saying that this terror is traveling from the north to the south. Now, it went from, I think, Kwara to Kogi. From Kogi, it landed in Oyo. On one occasion, there was 1 or 2 incidents in Ogun State, and then there was a scaremongering incident in Lagos. Now, along the Lagos-Benin Expressway at Ogbere, area J4, we saw this report about persons being attacked in broad daylight on the expressway. And this is just to show that, look, the challenge of insecurity remains. President Trump did not say that, they have solved the problem in Nigeria or is a messiah. He said that due to the partnership between Nigeria and the United States, there has been significant reduction in the escalation of terror in Nigeria. Certainly the problem has not been solved. But the operation you refer to is called Operation Kosaye, which you interpreted properly, but it is Kosaye, not Kosaye. Kosaye.
Any difference is the A is like giving something else,
yeah,
right? Yoruba, the intonation.
Yes, it's a tonal language. So Kosaye, which means no space here in Ogun State. And I think that the collaboration between Lagos State and Ogun State, while we commend it, it has to be sustained. It should not be an ad hoc response that is very convenient. They rescue the victims well, very lucky people. But the bandits that have been arrested, we hope that, this will be lead to more arrests and a follow-up in terms of operations. Ogbere J4, that's very close to Lagos.
We took a story about interception in Lagos as well.
Yes. I hope one of these days they will not come and operate right inside the city.
All right, very well said, Dr. Abati. And the Oyo State Police Command is pushing back, categorically denying viral reports claiming that a pastor was arrested for supplying arms and ammunition to the terrorists behind the Orire school abductions. The command described the reports as entirely false, misleading, and unfounded, warning that misinformation could actively undermine ongoing rescue operations. Now, today marks 40 days since the abduction of over 40 pupils and 7 teachers from Orire local government area. The police are right to push back on unverified claims, and we at Arise News acknowledge that the information we received from our security source has now been officially denied by the Oyo State Police Command. But what is most crucial is that the abductees, over 40 children, and 7 teachers come home alive, and that every resource available is deployed to make that happen. Now let's take more stories now under politics. Reactions are trailing comments from Senate President Godswill Akpabio, who declared that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration is already transforming Nigeria, speaking at the signing of the NIMC Act 2026 on Friday. Akpabio commended the National Assembly for translating the president's vision into law, saying Nigeria will never remain the same again after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu leaves office. Let's take a look.
Mr. President, I don't think, if I speak, we are going to reopen the debate on why we pass this piece of legislation for you to assent to become an act of parliament today. But let me say it's part of your innovation, part of your intuition, part of your reforms for Nigeria. You have promised that under your tenure, by the time you are through, that Nigeria will never be the same again. So even from the achievement so far made by the Ministry of Interior in terms of identifying and picking up criminals at the point of entry, it shows that even before assenting to this bill, that a bill is already working. And my brother has also mentioned the advantages.
Well, Rufai, Nigerians online are firing back, pointing to rampant insecurity, hardship, and poverty, asking what exactly has transformed for the better. I'll take Daniel's post on X. He wrote, Akpabio is right. Nigeria hasn't remained the same under Tinubu's administration. We are truly witnessing it. Things have progressively gotten worse to the point where Buhari's regime is arguably better. And that says a lot. Meanwhile, a viral clip of the Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, is setting social media on fire after the monarch delivered a pointed critique of the National Assembly, declaring that a legislature that cannot stand up to the executive is simply an arm of the executive, not an independent branch of government. Let's take a look.
You have a legislature that's supposed to make laws, that's supposed to check and balance the executive. If the legislature cannot stand up to the executive, and it's an arm of the executive, that is not a strong legislature. The National Assembly was one that passed the law. The law said you cannot lend more than 5% of last year's revenue. That law was broken with impunity. Where was the National Assembly? I was called before the National Assembly more than 20 times on every small matter. Central Bank, federal character, this one. I was hauled and harassed and disturbed. And all of a sudden, for 8 years, the National Assembly was silent. I said, can National Assembly tolerate this? So this is about institutions. As an institution, the legislature was supposed to call this, they passed the law to make sure that that law was being complied with. If we had that pressure from the legislature, pressure from economists, pressure from international analysts, it would have been very difficult for these things to have continued and for us to be where we are.
Well, Sanusi's words are widely interpreted as a direct attack on the 10th National Assembly under Senate President Godswill Akpabio, which many Nigerians describe as a rubber stamp for the Tinubu administration. Meanwhile, the NDC has accused INEC of blocking it from uploading its candidates on the official nomination portal just days after a Kogi State High Court ordered INEC to deregister the NDC. The party is appealing the ruling, calling it a temporary setback, and obedient supporters are furious, accusing INEC of being weaponized against the opposition ahead of 2027. And, you know, INEC has not officially responded, but this story is much bigger than a portal access code. Prominent banker and commentator Atedo Peterside has weighed in, putting the spotlight squarely on what he calls judicial rascality. And I'll read Atedo's post on X. He wrote, "The cure for judicial rascality is disciplinary action. Glossing over rascality while relying on appeal courts alone to overturn obnoxious judgments encourages more judges to go into the lucrative business of delivering procurable, obnoxious judgments." And, you know, all eyes on the judiciary all over again. We had that in 2023. Now we're having it again ahead of the 2027 election. I'd like for you to tie in all the stories.
All of them.
Legislature and now the judiciary.
Number one, Oji, the police in Oyo debunked the story and was saying back and forth. Is it the same police that called a video of bandits, police hailing bandits?
All right.
Is it the same police that called that video vigilante?
The same police, Rufy on fire.
It's the same police.
And I got the report from a security.
Oji, I like to take the things that the police says with a pinch of salt.
But it's our duty to report
their own
yes.
side. And everything, Oji, they will always debunk. The same police that came out to issue a statement and said, oh, the picture of the police waving at bandits, despite the fact that the Hausa interpretation has come out.
Yes.
It says vigilante. Till today, they've not had the sense to come and apologize to Nigeria that, oh, we made a mistake, or even lie and say it's AIU.
Yeah.
It's the same police that is debunking. If you believe them, you believe them at your own peril.
All right.
It's sad that that institution is gone. Just like the Sanusi Lamido said,
right.
And Akpabio is saying now, Senate President, what do you expect Akpabio to see? This has been one of his greatest time, being Senate President. And he will always support the government that has given him a lot of leeway. He will support the government against the people. But we all know that the Senate is even worse than a rubber stamp. National Assembly. In fact, it is defaming the word rubber stamp to call them rubber stamp. In fact, they are an arm of President Tinubu's presidency as we speak today. Don't even call them a rubber stamp. You are defaming the word rubber stamp to call the National Assembly rubber stamp. They are an arm of the presidency as we speak today. The same people that turn National Assembly, that change, national anthem in the space of how many days? The same people that said they will investigate the variations in the tax laws, till today the committee has not brought out their reports. Is it the same people you are listening to? What will he say? In fact, he will call President Tinubu's government El Dorado. The same government that finds it difficult to be able to fulfill its budgetary requirement. The same government that went ahead to still do the loan swap deal that the IMF cautioned us against doing with the Dubai Bank. The same government that under which poverty has increased to about 63%. The same government that we now have a high level of insecurity. The same government where you have bandits having the effrontery to be able to travel for Hajj operations and come back. Anyway, we are happy that Olubunmi Tunji Ojo's technology caught them. The same government where generals are being killed. Right. So if you say things are better, we believe you, because we have never seen this level of low in our lives. As regards the rescue, we are excited about the rescue, and we commend the police. Kusaye for bandits. But Dr. Abati, you were saying that they are coming here. Dr. Abati, they've always been in our bushes. Go to Ondo and see skirmishes that happen. It is not the same people that killed people when Ogbere Akeredolu was still there in the Owo massacre. Are these not the same people that killed Pafasoroti's daughter that made the leaders in the Southwest to set up Amotekun? So it's always been there.
All right.
And Sanusi Lamido pointing out the faults of the national, he's had his own fair share. So he's talking from experience. Even the judicial, is he any better? Ayo, I placed a bet here on the table. I said nothing will happen to Justice Lifu as regards his judgments. Has anything happened to him?
All right.
It's not just going to be condemnation.
All right.
So you see, if we had a state by today, Oji, we should have a crack team already investigating phone calls and personal details of those justices that are making errant judgment to be able to bring investigation out.
We should bring this.
Let me go back. When Muhammadu Buhari cracked those judges then and brought all sorts of investigations against them, although a lot of them scaled through those judges, we called him name and tyrant and everything.
All right.
Maybe it is time to start raiding the judges again.
Well said, Rufai. Well said. Thank you for your submission. We'll take this heartbreaking account, which is emerging from Kaduna State. As a husband of a woman lynched by a mob has made a shocking allegation saying that the police handed his wife to the mob and watched them burn her alive. Mohammed Aliyu said his wife, Malama Umu Kari Usman, who is an Islamic school teacher and mother of 4, was traveling to an Islamic lecture in Maraban, Jos, when she stopped to ask children for direction and was forcefully accused of child theft by residents who then formed a mob. He said police took her into protective custody, but then the DPO allegedly led her back outside, straight into the hands of the waiting mob, who lynched and burned her alive. A video showing the scene has gone viral on social media. Viewer discretion is advised. Let's take a look.
Yanzu dai matan da ake zarginta da satan yaran ne, tuni al'umma an kasa shawo kansu. Nan take dai sun kashe matar kuma sun cinna mata wuta. Yanzu haka wannan hayaki da ake kallo gawar matan da ake zargin ne suka kashe ta kuma aka sanya mata wuta a daidai wannan lokacin. To dai da yake abu zargi ne.
Well, the Nigerian police force has denied the allegation, but the Inspector General of Police has ordered an independent probe into the officer's conduct. 40 or more suspects have been arraigned. Governor Uba Sani has condemned the killing in the strongest terms, describing it as barbaric and unacceptable, and announced that his administration will cater for the upkeep of Muhammad Aliyu and fund the education of their 4 children. Let's take a look.
All the people are involved, no matter the number. We will ensure that justice is done. And the fact of the matter is that nobody will kill an innocent person, cannot sit and go free without anything. And as a government, we made it clear. Those charged with culpable homicide certainly will face the law. In a situation like this, everyone must be investigated, including the police. They are doing their best, but we have to ensure that everyone must come clean in the course of this investigation. And the government of Kaduna State will take care of all the family of the deceased, particularly her children and her husband.
41 persons have been charged with culpable homicide. A teacher, a mother, forcefully accused, has died needlessly. Nigerians are demanding justice for the late teacher and her family. May her soul rest in peace. Your thoughts?
May her soul rest in peace. This is incredibly, incredibly sad, but I think it gives us a sense of what the temperature of the nation is currently. There's heightened anger, and people are people are reluctant to wait for the justice process because they feel that the justice process has failed them time and time again, or perhaps they do not see that justice is being served, and therefore they take matters into their own hands. With the spate, I mean, look at what Senator Oshiomhole said earlier in the show about kidnappers, that let's just kill them, publicly execute them. And this is an admission of the failure of states to arrest the situation. And this is what we see in Kaduna State, because what happened was that the woman was around children and the community erroneously thought that she was a kidnapper, and without giving her the opportunity to defend herself or for the justice system in Nigeria to play its course, they took matters into their own hands, and we saw jungle justice at play. And if we're not careful, and this is why we keep on a daily basis encouraging the government to do something about the insecurity and the spate of kidnapping, because after a while, the people get tired and they will take matters into their own hands, and then we have a state of anarchy. We descend into a state of anarchy when people begin to behave in a barbaric manner in such a manner. So having come out, and the glee, I think it's just sad. And the same thing that happened in Ozora that we're talking about in Delta State. Yes. The glee with which Nigerians come out to stone or to do things that ought to be shameful, ought to be studied. There's a psychological impact of the level of trauma that Nigeria has faced in recent times based on insecurity, terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, rape, and all kinds of manner of stories that we have. So there is an intolerance of crime. However, it does not in any way justify jungle justice. Now, with the police officer, the DPO that was in question, yes, the report says that they actually took the lady initially in to provide her some form of safety, but hundreds of mobs, a mob came to the police station, and I'm not speaking in defense of the DPO, but sometimes they become so overwhelmed by the people that it almost seems as if they sacrificed the woman in order to save, because anything could have happened. They could have set the police station ablaze. They could have attacked the police officers. And so that's another thing around the fact that even the police officers are overwhelmed. Yes. They cannot control the situation. After a while, the people overwhelm the security operatives, and that is very, very dangerous. But let an investigation be held.
Okay, this is not the last time this would happen. Because we have a reign of impunity in this country. People take the laws into their hands, and it will happen again because they always get away with it. You remember the case of Deborah Samuel?
Yes.
In 2022, May, the student at a college of education in Sokoto.
Sokoto, yes.
There was also a woman in Abuja, Eunice Elisha, who was said to be preaching.
Eunice Olawale?
Yes.
Elisha, you know, who was said to be preaching early morning, and then religious fanatics set her ablaze.
Nothing of Bridget.
We have many examples like that. So they get away with it, so it happens. About the police, we cannot give any excuse. The job of the police is to protect lives and property.
Yes.
And they say that the police is your friend.
Well,
where the police fails to be your friend, it also shows, you know, the weakness of institutions and the failure of that institution. So we cannot excuse it. Well, it's a good thing that Governor of Kaduna State says justice will be done.
Yes.
That is the barest minimum that the state can do. And he's one of those governors who support the state police.
Right. All right.
You know, his commitment
you're
is to...
absolutely right, Dr. Abati. I hope this will be a different sort of case because the governor is involved at this point and he has promised to take care of the family, and he has said that the police or whoever that is guilty of this crime will be charged. So, I mean, it's good that we're seeing a proactive governor at this point tackling this menace in the north. Now, Nigerians remain sharply divided over the First Lady's Akara controversy, but presidential spokesman Sunday Dare is defending her in a new interview, sharing his own story to back up the First Lady's remarks, declaring that his mother sold Akara and bananas to train him, and that he personally carried bananas on a tray on his head to markets in Jos. Let's take a look.
You must not miss a point. Our point is that whatever it is, try and do something. Have some level of entrepreneurial skill. Sheon, look at me. Wherever I am today, my mother sold Akara. Wherever I am today, my mother sold bananas. I carry bananas on the tray in my head to markets in Jos Plateau State. My mother sold oranges. And through that, they were able to train me. What is wrong with that? If that was right 60 years ago, what is wrong with that now? Because it's about what capital you have. When you grow these small businesses, you start small. Go and read Dangote's story. Go and read Dangote's story, where he started from. He also started like a trader. So the point she is making is, whatever it is, be engaged in some kind of enterprise.
Well, I know you spoke on this story, but you know, Nigerians online are asking one key question. Can small businesses truly survive in today's economy? Well, D1 comedian puts that to the test, interviewing an Akara seller who started with 12,000 naira, made 5,000 naira profit in one day, and says 30,000 naira could help us scale up. Let's take a look.
So wait, how much do they make for this Akara business?
I do make up to 5,000 naira out of the business.
5,000 one day for profit?
Yes, yes. So the one I did today now, all my expenses was 12,000 naira, but I was able to gain 5,000 naira on top of it. So everything that I sold today was 17,000 naira. If you give me 20,000 or 30, I can use it to move on with it.
No. You mean if you have 30,000, you go and start this business afresh for another place?
I'll use it and start it afresh from another place.
30,000?
Get one pint of beans, get groundnut oil, 5 liters, then get other things. I can be able to do it.
Wow. And this business could so from that 30,000 now, you can see profit of at least 5,000 when you sell?
Yes. If I stay in a better place, that legs are moving, that where customers can come and buy, you will make it when you are selling. And I sell per one 15 naira.
Wow. This is the trending story, Dr. Abati. Over to you. You know you didn't speak on Friday. That's why I'm giving you the floor really quickly.
No time, so I kept my thoughts to myself.
Yes.
Now, very quickly, there is a lot of creativity, a lot of humor that has surrounded this subject. Again, showing how Nigerians can be very creative. In fact, this morning, somebody sent me a form online, National Akara Sellers Association, and asked me if I would like to join, that the form is just 2,000. But, you know, the point of it is, Sunday Dare is right. Yes. There are many big men in this country today who were brought up by their mothers. Some of them were widows. By through petty trading, whether it is akara or it is plantain or it is kulikuli or it is agbado. The story by D1 comedian, whether it is a skit or it is a true story, you know, again illustrates the main point.
It does illustrate the main point,
about the value of the dignity of labor, the value of micro and small scale businesses.
Correct.
Now, but because the First Lady used the word akara, people did not see the sense, the value behind it, particularly for people who grew up and their parents never had to go and buy akara by the roadside, or who did not even, there will be young people in this country who have never tasted kuli-kuli. But you know, all these businesses, the way they package kuli-kuli now, it's a very profitable business.
It is.
The way they package akara or mai. Okay, what would you say to the women in a place called Osu on the way to Ife, where there is big akara business? So it's about scaling, giving people opportunity. So there have been many dimensions to it.
There are many.
So it's not enough to just dismiss it, but it's about dignity of labor. It's about small and micro scale businesses. And Mrs. Tinubu providing support in that regard. I don't think that she meant...
she must be commended for that. She must be commended
for
providing...
People.
For providing support.
As for this economy,
story.
there are people who are still getting grants and are surviving, and they get opportunity to
Like I said, she was speaking in terms of her empowerment program.
Is this not a pattern that close to an election cycle, throw money at them? We had trader money before. I want to understand the needs-based assessments that governments or even initiatives like the Renewed Hope Initiative do to see if this is the critical need of the Nigerian woman. So it's tokenism. And they give them, does this solve the problem? Does it help them? We don't know. We are still talking about 1960, my mother did this, my mother did that. One of the challenges I have is that we lack critical thinking, and that's why we don't move forward as a nation.
Giving grants?
Let's leave that to the local government chairman. Leave that to the local government chairman.
Okay, so she shouldn't give
at
grants
that
to local
level.
government
She's a former senator.
All right, go ahead.
Do better.
She shouldn't do that. Okay.
Yes.
What about quickly?
A lot of people are missing the Akara conversation. This is just pure tokenism and looking down on people. Oji, let's flip the scripts. Why is it that you can't make a country in such a way that the barest minimum too can give 1 or 2 billion in grants to people? Why is it the tokenism of Akara looking down on people, not appreciating the fact that there's ingenuity and skill?
All right.
And also, how about better ideas like rethinking the bean ecosystem? You're talking Akara today, you're talking about Usu, frying.
Akara should be seen as a metaphor. It's a metaphor.
Wait, Dr. Abati. You're talking about Akara. Wait, you are talking about...
It's a metaphor.
Wait,
all right,
can I land on this point? Would you guys let me land on this point?
Correct.
You're talking about Akara, people frying a mass in Osu. Wait till the Chinese people disrupt that your Akara ecosystem.
All right.
And they will sell the package Akara back to you. That's what we are talking about. People should think of critical thinking and skill. Let's keep deceiving ourselves. Oh yeah, okay.
All right. The First Lady, I watched the entire clip and I must reiterate, she was speaking about her empowerment program. And she had empowered people of the lower demographic, and that's all it is really at this point. Now under milestones. Today we celebrate a titan of Nigerian public service, former Lagos State Governor and ex-Minister of Works, Power and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, who turned 63 on June 28th. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has sent warm felicitations, describing him as an outstanding administrator, accomplished legal practitioner, and patriotic Nigerian whose exemplary leadership has left an enduring legacy across the country. Fashola served as Chief of Staff to the then Governor Tinubu between 2003 and 2006 before succeeding him as Governor of Lagos State from 2007 to 2015, where he transformed Lagos into a model of innovation and sustainable urban development through landmark reforms in infrastructure, transportation, security, education, and healthcare. He went on to serve in the federal cabinet from 2015 to 2023, taking charge of 3 critical ministries, Works, Power, and Housing. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said Fashola's commitment to excellence will continue to signpost him as an outstanding governor and leader. Congratulations are in order. I mean, he was
super minister.
He was a chief of staff to governor, to minister. Babatunde Raji Fashola has given decades of distinguished service to Nigeria. Now, from all of us at Arise News, we wish Babatunde Fashola a very happy birthday. Congratulations. More on the milestones. Today we celebrate a legal giant, Henry Odion Ajumo-Gobia, SAN, former Minister of Foreign Affairs and one of Nigeria's most distinguished legal minds, who marked his 70th birthday on June 29th. His colleagues at his chamber described his life as a remarkable devotion to the advancement of law, public service, and nation building. Congratulations, SAN Ajumo-Gobia. Happy 70th birthday. We wish him long life and prosperity. Now, should we take our good news report from Akwa State, where Governor Umo Eno has fulfilled his promise as Ibom Air launched its first scheduled commercial international flights between Uyo and Accra, Ghana on Sunday. The governor himself boarded the inaugural flight alongside regular passengers. The flight was partly piloted by one of the young pilots recently trained by Governor Eno's administration at the Airbus Pilot Training Academy in France.
Joy is coming. Joy is coming. Dupa, Olua, Olua, Joy is coming.
Congratulations to the good people of Akwa Ibom and, of course, Pastor Umo Eno. We'll take our final story now under entertainment. And Nigeria is all over the global stage. Afrobeat superstar Davido was born in Atlanta, lit up the FIFA World Cup Fan Festival at Centennial Olympic Park, performing massive hits, including Dami Duro and his latest hit, I Know Who I Be. Let's take a look.
I know who I be. Who am I? I'm a bad guy. My designer, waka waka, Balenciaga, I'm Prada. You must have gone insane if you think your story is my story. I know who I be, I know who I be. Watch how I do it, mama, watch how I do it. They don't be run on me too late, me I don't be all on me too late. I go double, me then double also, shy. Then them say I said I'm 30 BGs, so not 30 bottles, shy. Yeah, enjoyment gallery, after hustle not touchy, celebration confetti.
Nigeria to the world, Afrobeats to the world. On that note, I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on what's trending today. Well, that's all I have for you guys on what's trending today. Here is Davido's first single of 2026, I Know Who I Be. Enjoy it, and I'll see you all tomorrow.
I know who I be, I know who I be.